Great. Therapo's here too. And Urmi, hi. Great. Just wait a few more minutes before we start. I hope each one of you is doing well. Ritika has come in. Urmi is there. Hi. And just hold on. If there are any issues with the audio, I would ask somebody to please let us know if there is something. Usually, we had a small issue yesterday with when we took somebody else live at the same time. We had to, but we got it sorted with using headphones on one side. So if the echo problem exists when somebody else comes online, please let us know. I would also advise if during the session, if you have any queries, and if I disable the comments for some time. Hi Swat, nice to see you. If there are any questions, there's a question sticker at the bottom, which you can use to send in your questions even during the session. Okay, so I think we should be just hold on. Okay. Hi Preeti. Okay, great. हाय माय नेम इज अमित सांगेकर. मेरा नाम है अमित सांगेकर. माझं नाव आहे अमित सांगेकर. Welcome to Reading with You, Beyond Reading with You now, Season 2, Session 8, where we do poetry reading and more. Wow. It's been a good few sessions when we started when we started the season two. We have had a variety of comments happening, variety of sessions happening. We covered art to an extent. We covered diet, immunity to an extent. We also covered abstract art. And we had somebody speak about writing the other day. So, yeah, it's been a good mix of topics. Today, we will be touching upon the very a delicate topic of mental health. UK is, in fact, celebrating the Mental Health Week. So this is you would have possibly seen these kind of posters people in UK. So 18th to 24th May is actually the Mental Health Awareness Week within in UK, and a lot of things have been happening all across regarding this. Uh, there's somebody called Noam Spanker, who said, "Mental health is not a destination, but a process. It is about how you drive, not where you are going." Such true words. I'll start off the session with a small poem by somebody called Alison Holmes. Now, Alison was one of the participants of a program called as RAP, Wellness Action Recovery Plan, in the US. And this program actually encourages people to speak about, to express themselves through writing or through poem. And there's one lovely poem which she has written, and I thought I should read this out to you. It says, "I thought I had turned my back on you, yet here you are again, to torture me and bully me and feed off all my pain. You promised to be done with me and give me time to breathe. I tried to put you in my past, but you never really leave. I wake up full of hope and joy. At last, my world is bright. I have armed myself with many tools to face another fight. So go ahead and challenge me. I'm stronger this time round. It will take you so much longer to knock me to the ground. I see through different eyes now, and my guilt I laid to rest. There is no more that you can do but still you try your best. You tried to take me over, you made me weak and sad, and for a time you did succeed. My enemies were glad. Then I met my angels. They all appeared to me. I must have shouted loud enough for help to set me free. They wrapped their arms around me and shielded me from harm. They made me see what's real and true. You began to lose your charm. I used to wish they had been there to guide me as a mother, to stop me sealing my own fate from scars left by another. But now I know that all my life they were waiting for a time for me to hit rock bottom so they could help me climb. Their wings are wrapped around me, their words are so sincere. I'll never feel alone again now that I have them near. And they will never let me down. They have given me the means so that my life is good again and I am full of beans. So come on, you depression, and do your best to try and spoil another day. Put my bell tools to the test. I know now I will beat you. You can never win this fight. You did your worst and battered me, but now I see the light. Goodbye to you, good riddance. Never show yourself to me. The book is finally finished. The chapter set me free. Each day I now am trying to bury all the crap. Instead of all the crying, I smile again through rap. So she ends up with the final thank you to the organization called RAP, Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and such beautiful words by her. I will now welcome our guests. Before we start, I'd like to remind you that this is not a session which is offering any kind of medical advice to anybody. People whom we are speaking to today are the founders of this lovely initiative. They have managed to bring together their experience, the skills of qualified individuals, technology, and clients on one platform. And I see this as a beautiful use of technology. These are the founders of Therapo. Therapo is an online counseling service which brings together experienced psychologists and counselors to clients who need help. I find this as a brilliant example of how technology can really be used to aid the a larger population in general. So let me now first get on screen. The first on screen we'll have with us is just waiting. That's it. Connected. Hi Sanjay, can you hear me?
Hi, Amit. Yes,
Good.
of course, I can
So
hear you very clear.
this is Sanjay Sarkar, co-founder
Hi,
of Therapo,
hi,
and
everybody.
I'm so glad that we have a chance to speak to you, Sanjay. Really appreciate you taking your time out. I hope everything is fine at your end.
Everything is okay. Thanks, Amit. Thanks for asking. We are all doing the best we can. Let me take off my glasses and see better without it. Yeah. So things are okay.
Okay,
And before we begin, I must tell you that was a beautiful poem that you read out. It's so nice.
thank you so
It's
much.
it's nice, and those words are so true and so correct. This is the spirit with which people need to fight these things.
True, true. I've just changed the screen so that people see what the topic is all about throughout the entire session. Uh,
Sure, sure.
Now, this is a very delicate topic, not really one which has been, or at least for a long time, was not actively spoken about. I see the awareness a lot more now, but some of the taboos have still not gone away. But tell me, in what really constitutes mental health when that term is used by so many people nowadays?
So, very simply, mental health is anything to do with your mind. So, and actually, I like to, whenever I talk to people, my friends or whoever around me, try to dispel the whole myth of mental health being a very big thing or anything like that. It's just like physical health. There is mental health, right? So, like we have dental health, we have our health of our bones or our kidneys and our different organs. like that, there is a very important aspect of all of us, which is our minds. And we are all social creatures. So, I was talking to you the other day about this, that being social creatures on a day-to-day basis, our interactions, 95% of our interactions are social and communication
Correct.
related interactions with other people. It's not really physical interactions. You have physical interactions with very few people and at very small, short periods of time. Most of the time you're interacting with people, whether it's a taxi driver, whether it's your colleagues, whether it's your people that you live with or your friends. So you communicate. And behind all this communication and your social interaction is your mind. And that stays, some say that the mind is inside our brain,
True.
wherever. So the is where it stays. So if your mind is not healthy for whatever reasons, it affects the quality of your relationships with other people. So
Correct.
that is what I see as mental health. Very simply, it's about our minds, how well we look after our own mind, and
True.
in what way do we look after our own minds. That's it. So that is what mental health would be for us.
I know you made a very valid point there that it is something which is like physical health.
Yes,
Not many people till for quite some time understood it to be extremely as an aspect of health, but they would rather treat it as some kind of an ostracized feeling kind of a thing, and that is how people were made to feel. So which is
correct.
possibly the biggest thing which people need to understand. Why is this so important? I mean, it started coming up now quite a bit, but why do you think mental health really plays? Spoke about the social bit because man is a social animal literally, so that really affects everything. But are there aspects which are there which make it really so important for us?
Yes, one is yeah. Well, so firstly, the whole issue was with not understanding this science very well, right? So historically or prehistorically, if you say, like long times ago, it was mistaken as a subject of the supernatural. It was mistaken as a subject of mysticism, of things like that, right? So people were
Correct.
punished for being odd or different, or they were called fools or they were
Yeah.
called crazy,
Yeah.
all these kind of things. So this is I'm talking about like long old history and all that kind of thing. But over a period of time, slowly it became a part of medical science. People started understanding that these are things that are not about gods, and these are things that are not about some alien effects on your brain, and you don't have to drive a stake in this guy's heart or anything like that.
Correct.
So discoveries have happened over a period of time.
True.
But even in the recent times, Amit, what is very interesting is that even psychiatry, so if you look at psychiatry, which is the side of psychology which can actually give medical prescriptions and give medicines,
Correct.
in psychiatry also, till very recent times, doctors were not recording or be not able to record or observe the organ that they were treating. The organ is your electrical impulses in your body and the brain's functioning and
Right.
all that kind of, right? So if you break your arm today, you go to an orthopedic, and the first thing he'll do is a X-ray or a CT scan because he want to observe it.
Yeah.
He'll do blood tests so that he'll understand how things are working how the chemicals are working in your body. But with psychiatry, till very recently, these things were not known. So it was not observed. And because it was not observed, normal common people never understood it. So they
Correct.
didn't, because they didn't understand it. How do you explain? If I don't understand it, how do I explain to a friend if they ask me, what's wrong with you? You know? So my gut feeling would be, impulse would be to hide it under the carpet. So stigma came up because of this. Because
Correct.
even if I went to a psychologist, even though I was going to a psychiatrist and I was getting better, I was still shy to talk about it because the explanation was not logical enough, right? It was
Yes.
not
Correct.
logical
Yeah.
enough to say that I've broken my tendon has got torn. That's a very logical explanation we believe. We don't even know whether there is a tendon or not, but still, we
Yes.
think it's a logical explanation. But when it comes to the mind, we don't know. So because of that, it was not known for a long time. But of late, there are a lot of changes that is happening in science. Nowadays, psychiatry has changed. So psychiatry does brain specs, and they would study your brain imaging, and then medications are prescribed for mental illnesses in severe cases and all that stuff, right? So because of that, slowly openness is coming up. A lot
Correct.
of government taking initiatives to give a lot of education amongst the masses. So you see, in some societies, it's already become quite an okay subject amongst teenagers and younger generation. They are more open than the older generation. So this
Correct.
change is happening, and we hope that in the years to come, it'll become even more an accepted area to talk about and to seek help when you need to, rather than just keep quiet about it.
Absolutely, so true. Uh, Tell me, as a common man, uh,
Hmm.
would you be able to identify if there are mental issues either with yourself or with family members? Are there any symptoms, or is there anything which a common man can at least know? Okay, I need to watch out for this, and this is what requires some kind of help.
Yes, of course, there are symptoms. I don't want to say too much because
It's in the medical domain. I agree. Yeah.
no, no, not because of that. What happens is, yeah, that too. But what happens is that, uh, especially in this scenario with this lockdown and all the uncertainties and the stress right
Correct.
now, a lot of people are reading signs, reading too much into small things, right?
That is
But
also true.
yeah, but to answer your questions, yes, I mean there are very simple signs like things like overeating, because you're about food, so I thought I should tell you about that. you know uh, just before this before this session, I got a message which is a joke from somebody who said that, what if this is just a plot for aliens to feed us before the big harvest? So people are overeating now because of this.
Understood.
Anyway, lack of sleep, or overeating or undereating, losing of appetites,
Correct.
uh, feeling nervous, feeling scared, feeling irritable, angry, or sadness, emptiness, all these things. If any of these things, palpitations in your heart,
Correct.
all these kind of things, if these breathlessness, not because you have a problem in your lungs, but just because you're worried about something, you're getting breathless.
Correct.
If these occur frequently and very often, and if they take a long time to subside, you know that there is something that you should, start thinking about. It could be a very minor problem that you can just fix by walking around or taking your mind off or whatever.
Correct.
And if it continues and continues and continues, then you know that you need help. You need to talk to somebody. And when I say talk to somebody, I'm not talking about talking to a friend or all that. That also helps.
Yeah.
But talking to a professional, and if needed, if they feel that yes, there is an issue and you need to take medicines like you would take normal medicines for a stomach upset or something like that,
Correct.
uh, then you would take that. So yes, there are symptoms like this, very very simple symptoms, common symptoms. There are no odd symptoms or anything like that.
Correct.
Give you the first inklings of uh, the
So
presence of
true.
something.
No, and
Yeah.
I think there are two things which you said here. One is about the various chemical reactions which are happening within the brain, which are possibly now measurable, and what people try and measure now at psychiatrists do. Uh, and the thing about simple things which are to be noticed with COVID and with Corona going around right now. I mean, it's quite similar. It's like, what are the usual symptoms? The symptoms are your flu-like symptoms. They are
Correct.
literally so similar that, but you need to
Correct.
address it in a different manner. You need to look at that problem, identify it, and look at it in a very different manner. This The medical side of so you speak about going out and speaking to people, which is possibly now referred to as counseling in some ways or
Correct.
the other. Now, is the fact that is counseling very easily available to people in a way that they are able to approach it without fear, or is it still something which is oh God, dear Lord, this is a big task?
Yes, it is. Very good question, Amit. So, yes, absolutely true. I mean, I have seen it in a few countries, not only in India, but it continues to be a taboo. It continues to be a taboo in most countries. Yes, there are counseling services that are available. Of course, the numbers of counselors and psychologists are much lesser than any other specializations in
Correct.
medicine. Uh, but the taboo is there, and I can tell you from my own personal experience. Many years ago, when I was going through, I did my own sessions with my counselor. I remember, innocently go. I never had these issues. Okay, in my head, I went and I used to sit there waiting for my appointment. I would land up like 15 minutes before, and I'd wait at the hospital for my turn. And I started noticing after a few sessions that, hey, you know, this department, this psychology department is always empty. Okay, the lobby never had anyone waiting, but there were appointments. There were lots of people who had taken appointments, but they're
Okay.
never to be seen. But if you go to the pediatric wing, you'd find kids are playing, parents have brought toys to keep them occupied, and they're waiting their turn for an appointment. But outside the psychologist's clinics, nobody was seen because they'd go and hide near the coffee machine. They'd pretend to go to the toilet and wait there
Wow.
till that till it was their time, and then they'll quickly come and enter the door. So yes, the facilities are there, but people hesitate. People really hesitate to be seen by other people.
Correct.
So, like, if my friend sees me, that's all right. But my fear is if he asks me, why are you here? And what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Then, I'll just go crazy. I won't know how to face that. That's the problem that people
Wow.
face. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, education is not just about telling people about mental health, but actually telling people how to accept it as something
Yeah.
not, I wouldn't say normal as the right word, but as something which is possible to happen to anybody like any other health problem.
Anybody. You
True.
know the stats. So the stats, the US and India both say that about 20% of their population is, affected by mental illness of some sort or the other. And there are many illnesses. So about 20% of the audience. And we all know that number is nothing. That's only the stated number who have been diagnosed, who have
Correct.
gone to the extent of reaching out to a hospital and got diagnosed. Most of the other people, I would say the number would be something like 70-80% of the population. It's so common. We have this in all households. We have it in our own families. We have it in amongst our own friend circles.
Correct.
Everyone. How many talk about it? Very few.
Very few. True. Let me now come to this current situation of the physical feeling of being locked down. Uh,
Yeah.
you can say that most of us are maybe locked down in a environment which is familiar in the sense a home is familiar to me, but not necessarily the safest for everybody because everybody has a
Mm.
different conception of safety. How has this changed, or do you see this change affecting people on their mental health? Just the feeling of being locked down.
Oh, very big impact, obviously. Because when you are locked down like that and you are also having to do social distancing, I mean, if you were locked down with all your friends every day, it's a different thing, but you're not. You cannot socialize, and you are just locked down and you're staying at your home or wherever you are staying. So what some of the things that have stopped happening is social interactions, right? So one of
Correct.
the things that people are missing, big time missing, is social interactions.
True.
And that was important because social interactions were always a release of whatever kind, right? So you talk to your closest friends or you have a fight with your colleague at work, and it was always a day-to-day normal way of releasing things that get pent up amongst
Correct.
yourself, little problems. Now that is not happening. Because of this is not happening. And on top of that, this whole pandemic being an
Yeah.
untreatable monster, which does not have a vaccination, does not have medicines. We don't know when there will be a medicine. People are reading up all the scientific journals and of how to detect whether you have COVID, and everybody has become a COVID doctor now in every
Yeah.
household. So what is happening is that this is increasing the worries in people. People are getting more and more worried
Correct.
about their health, firstly, because of from the COVID perspective, they're worried about their health. The second is they worried about their finances. They're worried about their work, livelihoods continuing, not continuing. Every day they read news of companies laying off people, companies going bankrupt, economies going into recession, and all that. So it's a natural worry that people have that my livelihood is also unsafe now. Uh, then they worry about their family. Sometimes your family is with you in the same place. Sometimes your family is in far away in other places. So
Yeah.
you worry about them.
Correct.
So multiple things are causing worries, which always do. But because now you're locked down, you kind of feel that you're in a small prison of sorts, and you can't do anything. So all these things are making people more and more stressful. So there is more anxiety, more stress, more worry. Uh, you know, these things are bound to cause health concerns at some point if they keep on happening too much. So
And
yes,
I think
this is what is happening in
all
the
these
situation.
worries and I think coming together at the same time. Possibly you
Yeah,
were exposed to all these worries, but not as something which was bombarded with you at just one single go. But now
right,
you have them to think about them multiple times in your brain, just keep on wondering about it. I think that's really put a challenge to a lot of people. And you mentioned
right,
right about the social bit. It's like the social fabric has been ripped apart. Even when
correct,
you are now walking on the road, when you get a chance, a human tendency is to either walk towards a person. Now you want to walk away from a person rather than towards them. That itself is
right.
such a big social shift.
Correct, correct,
Wow.
correct. Lots of new
Now,
things. And the thing is that these in large number of people, this causes fear, and that fear is what is causing all these other issues.
absolutely.
Sorry, go on, Amit.
True. Now, is there a way? I know we are not giving any medical prescriptions here, but what could a common man do to say stay mentally healthy? And is there a way families could contribute, family, friends could contribute in this?
Hmm. Yeah. So like we said, the whole issue is in the mind, right? So it is really in the mind. You are locked down in your home, but COVID has not walked in through your door. Uh, Suddenly all the money that you had saved up has not disappeared from your bank. The job that you had is still there. Uh, your country has not really declared a recession. None of those things have happened. Okay, but the fear is what is there in our head about all these
Correct.
things. The fear that the money is gone, the fear that the COVID has walked in through the window, and I have got COVID, and I will probably not survive. All these kind of
Correct.
is what is there in the mind. So all the main thing that you need to do is uh, is build resilience. Even if there is a problem, you have to build resilience to be able to come back from that problem. But now the funny situation is that you don't even have the problem yet. You're just perceiving a problem.
Yeah.
So stop perceiving the problem. So what are the things that you can do to stop perceiving the problem? So maybe inculcate new hobbies. You have a lot of time that you've got now, and you have an opportunity to explore a completely different routine of life. It's been almost 2 months in most countries where
Yeah.
you're not going to work, so you're not driving. That traffic is gone. All those hours are saved, and even though you're working very hard or maybe extra hard now, you still have more time. You have more the same space where you can do things and all that kind of thing. Find out things that you would like to do. It's like a reset. It's an opportunity to reset yourself.
Correct.
Maybe create new hobby, learn a new skill, hone yourself in some new areas, um, or watch something that helps you grow rather than just watching movies and all that. And it's okay to do all that. Spending a lot of time on social. It's okay to be on social media. I'm not saying that it should not, but nothing is good if you do too much of it.
Too
So
much of it.
divide
Yeah.
it accordingly. Figure out your own discipline that works for you, and try to explore those things. What these will do is these will take your mind off that worry,
Correct.
that
So
negative
true.
worry, which releases all the negative chemicals and enzymes in your body, which in turn affect your organs. Actually, it starts affecting your heart, your kidneys, your stomach, your digestion. All those things will happen less. So you start taking your mind away into something else, and you start feeling better. And you'll go through this. COVID is here to stay. This lockdown is here for some time. It will pass after that, and once that is over, you'll slowly start getting back to your normal life again. So it's just how do you survive right now? That's it.
That's it. So true. Wow, Sanjay. That thank you so much for those words. Thank you for taking us through these few things about mental health. I'm now going to try and get Praveen, your colleague, online and speak more about specifically Therapo as a service in general. I
Sure.
really appreciate you taking your time today and speaking to us. And I will now take Praveen online. But thank you. Really
Sure.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Wow. So I'm now going to add the other co-founder of Therapo, Praveen Nair. And let me see if Praveen, yes, there is Praveen there. Okay. I'm going to wait for Praveen. Hi, Praveen. Can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, I can. Let me just adjust my camera.
Just give me a minute, Praveen, because I can't hear you. Let me see if others can.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I think I'll just see if others can hear you. Somebody just put up there. Just hold on. If Okay, great.
Hello.
Thanks, Sachin. Thanks for telling. Thanks, Rajesh. Okay, great. Others can hear you very clearly. So perfect. That's not a problem. It happens usually on Instagram Live at times, but it's fine. Now,
No problem.
Praveen. First of all, this is Praveen Nair. He is one of the co-founders of Therapo, and we just had a lovely session with the other co-founder Sanjay, and he told us, and we spoke to some extent about mental health in general. I want to focus specifically on Therapo specifically. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and you tell us what is Therapo first, and how did it come about?
Yeah. So, firstly, thank you for having us on your Insta Live. And Sanjay spoke at length about. I heard the whole thing. So let me start by what really we started off doing. Coming up with this idea. So this is actually Sanjay's idea. He went through some personal issues. Initially. So he was so he did mention about the story of people when they visit the hospitals or when they visit for mental therapy, you will never find them sitting outside the OPD. You'll vis-a-vis how it happens in the other pediatric
Correct.
things or whatever, right? So that's when this thought came up that okay, should we have something which is virtual rather than physical, which kind of protects people's privacy, then their confidentiality. They are more in a trusted environment. They don't they this whole thing of it will make them do this thing more often than hiding behind stuff, right?
Correct.
So that's when we came out with this idea of making something like this. But this was like way back, I think 2012, 13, when we discussed this idea.
Okay.
And that time the technology was not really mature. We didn't have this current video technologies that we are doing right now. That was Adobe Flash and all those days, and Google wasn't this WebRTC and all these new technologies were really not there. So it took some time when we were toying with this idea of how to get this video thing cracking first in the first place, with internet slowness on the internet and all these things. Because if really there is a latency in the video and all, and with mental therapy, it will create a issue more than what it is.
Correct.
So that's when we were trying to crack the video problem first. So I think around 2014, 2015, when we cracked the video problem, we did everything was required around that, the billing, the provisioning, the therapist database, and all those kind of things. And around 2015, 2016, we had this whole platform ready. So this is
Okay.
how the whole idea came about. It was this whole journey. And yeah, and Therapo is to really tell you what Therapo is. It's a mental health platform. Okay, and at the moment we have around 80 plus psychologists and counselors online with us. And the way they do the counseling sessions is through video. That is our USP. So it's video chat.
Okay.
And so again, with video, it is safe, secure. It's, everything is encrypted. So all those things around, whether your data is going out, whether there are any privacy issues, etc., etc. So all those things are obviously taken care of on the platform. And we have made the journey of searching a therapist, booking, paying, getting online, starting the video session, everything so easy that, it is easy for the counselor, yes, the therapist, yes, but it is also easy for the clients to come log in. It's on a click of a button. It's all integrated together in one platform.
Okay.
Correct. And what it does is it makes, this whole thing, there's no traveling. You're sitting at home doing virtual sessions. So all this thing that Sanjay spoke about in terms of stigma and all, so those things are out. So that this is essentially what Therapo is. So, you can
Okay.
just go browse online. You'll find out what I'm talking about. So,
Right. So tell me, if I were to go through a consumer or a client journey who comes, say, new on Therapo,
correct.
how would it be? So a person finds about me, or finds a counselor, and then how does the entire journey go?
So if you go to Therapo straight away upfront, there are a few hyperlinks. Okay, you just click on therapist, you get a list of therapists straight away. And you can, you know your problem. Okay, that whether it's depression or whether it's anxiety, or whether it's marital issues, or whether whatever issues. So you just go, you have a lot of search there which you can just filter out, the counselors by, or the therapist by, and then you click on book, and choose your slot. There are a lot of slots available for each of these. So you click on these slots, whatever is comfortable with you, pay, and that's it, it's done. Okay, once you book, you get a notification whenever the session has to be on your SMS, on your
Okay.
mail, with all kinds of tips on how do you start, etc. Starting is really very simple. You just log in your dashboard, you find a timer going on. Okay, 1 minute left, half a minute left. So when your time is up, you just click on the button there to start the session, and you'll see your therapist live there with you, and that's it. So it's as easy as that, very easy. In fact, we have, one of the easiest website. We have got this feedback from many clients, many counselors who are online with us.
Awesome. And I think that is where the key lies, because the person is already actually suffering from something. And
Correct.
even if the procedure which is supposed to relieve him of that also becomes stressful, that is just adding to that person's entire issue. But tell me, do patients come back saying, or do you feel that the physical cues which are possible in a face to face meeting are maybe missed out, or body language or anything of that sort?
Yeah. So actually, yes. What happens here is, you're only seeing the face of the person. You're not seeing anything else on the video. Okay. So that is one. Secondly, when a client is doing an online session, he is, in his own trusted environment. He's not really, in the physically present where the counselor is. He's in his own place. So he's, at a different. He has a different level of confidence. Sometimes you may not be sometimes he may not be showing any symptoms or whatever, the thing is for these counselors. So and secondly, when they are only seeing the face, usually they see the posture, they see the limb movement, they see all these things, right? So these things are not visible on the video session, yes. So the way they do therapy online, they use slightly different techniques here. What they
Okay.
what they really do is they are firstly very alert, because they look at the eye movements. Because if you are having a limb movement or something, you'll keep looking down, you'll keep. So they
Correct.
are alert about these eye movements, one. Secondly, what they do is they do a lot of probing than they would have done otherwise, when they are physically present in front of the
Right.
client. So by probing, they try to ask the same questions in different ways, try to see how these clients are answering that, so that they are able to really judge, in terms of whatever judgment they want to do of these.
Okay.
This is what they do. Yeah, it is slightly different. You if you ask me about personal touch missing, all those things, yes, but there are big advantages of having these things online. Firstly, Sanjay spoke about the stigma part. So one is that you are for the clients, okay, they are comfortable sitting at their home, nobody is looking at them, so they can do that with much more confidence than they would have otherwise gone and hidden somewhere around the OPD and gone to the clinic. Correct. For the counselors, they are working whatever time they want, okay, sitting at their homes. So for both these, there are advantages of having these sessions online. One big advantage to clients is that you are now talking to counselors of your choice. For
Of
that,
your
from
choice.
that, what
Yeah.
I mean is, if I am a Malayali, and I have a problem finding out a Malayali therapist here in Mumbai, I'm really not going to get anybody, right? So if I go online to Therapo, I have a few Malayali counselors, who speak in Malayalam, who understand my culture, who understand where I come from, the problems that I have at home or whatever. They relate to that. So you have this whole culture thing. A counselor who knows about your stuff, who can speak in your language. So these are all big advantages over whether if you are physically going to somebody, you will have to
Correct.
live with that
So
barriers.
true.
So
So true.
that's the thing.
Uh, what has been, have you found people accepting of such technology in terms of are they comfortable? Has there been any kind of feedback in terms of if there could be more added to it, or no, they do not prefer technology? What has been your experience in terms of the usage of Therapo?
See, I have really not found a single instance where these clients of ours or therapists have they have gone out of this platform and met the therapist physically.
Okay.
Almost
Okay.
100% of the clients who have done sessions continue to do sessions with these therapists, on an ongoing basis, and many of them have solved their problems and recovered out of it. So it is it's basically it's positive whatever I see people using this platform. So really there has been no complaints as such,
Okay.
that they miss somebody meeting physically or something like that.
From a technology point of view, what do you think could be the next addition to these kind of services? What do you think is still lacking, or could you be great if you could have it?
From a tech perspective, you maybe firstly, right now, even a lot of times we face even WebRTC, the technology, the underlying technology
Yep.
that we are using right now is not a matured technology still.
Ah,
Okay, so it is not able to. Lot of times you'll find that video gets disconnected, you're buffering. Even leave the Therapo or a video on web. Even when you're doing a Skype or you're doing some Zoom or you're doing all the other stuff, you'll see that when you have to sit really near the router to get the best quality of bandwidth. Or sometimes it doesn't connect, sometimes it
correct.
disconnects. With WebRTC, the problems are even more. You have a lot of different, if I have to talk technically, natting issues and all these kind of different stuff that internally go. So it's not yet a mature technology to say, so to say.
Okay.
So we are still, there are a lot of times when it gets disconnected and somebody else. So we have provided for all these things that if you get disconnected, click here, just refresh. So all these things are
Right.
very well laid out in the whole thing, but we are still waiting for WebRTC itself to mature in terms of as technology. It's very new, maybe
True.
just 2-3 years old, or so that should get us to the next level of
Next level.
yeah. And with this COVID and with this all these things, people going online, I think there is a lot of push from all the big companies to towards WebRTC and all these
Correct.
stuff
And as you
to.
mentioned, technology, even the penetration of internet into areas beyond tier 2, tier 3 cities, into villages or into places where
Yes.
possibly these problems are not yet spoken about still in a very open manner. I think that is where possibly the final push at the final end may also lie, where you can actually get this service out to people in those kind of in those environments, in those villages and cities.
Correct, correct, correct. You're right. You're right. And the internet itself, a lot of things. I mean, you're looking at a TV screen with a HD video, and when somebody shows that on your, on therapo.com as a, a demo,
Correct.
you feel that, oh, this is really how the video session happens. But when it really happens, there is lag, there is some bit. So, this whole quality of video and, a lot of
True.
things that are still, yet to mature. So, these are the things
Awesome.
that we look forward to in the next maybe few years too.
Okay. Great. Praveen, thank you so much. Thank you very much for speaking to us. It's been a pleasure. I think you guys, Sanjay, Praveen, and your entire team are doing an excellent job. I hope that this service goes out to more people. People start using it and benefiting from it, and rather than, and I think it's a brilliant way of being non-invasive, or still trying to not show to people that okay, maybe I'm not comfortable going out, but yes, from the confines of my own home or own comfortable space, I'm willing to reach out and at least take help where I need it. So a
Yes.
great work
Yeah.
at Therapo. All the best to you in all your future Therapo endeavors, wherever they may happen. And stay safe. Thank you very much for giving your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for
Take
everything.
care.
Yeah. Bye.
Wow. Now that was Sanjay and Praveen from Therapo. Incidentally, Therapo is offering some free sessions till June 7th. So head over to their website and check them out. If there is anybody if somebody needs these kind of sessions, if they can be introduced to these sessions through this, please ask them to head over to therapo.com. And I once again thank both Sanjay and Praveen for their time today. Thank you so much for speaking to us. And before we end for today, I have my uh, poetry partner from Sydney joining us so that she can read out something to us, which I think she has written. Let me see. Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It looks like you have slept well.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, no, great. How's everything back there? I think Australia is pretty much opening up slowly, much more than a
Slowly.
lot of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We have eased out. We're on stage one of easing out. So restaurants are open for 10 people and we can socially invite 5 to 10 people over. So yeah. And June 1st will be the next phase. So we'll be easing up more depending on the situation. So it's good. Yeah.
Awesome, great. So please tell us, what do you have for us today from your treasure of poetries?
Okay. Before I start poetry, when Sanjay was talking, I remembered, that book that you recommended, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse.
Yeah.
The boy asks the horse, "What is the bravest thing you have done?" And the horse says, "Asking for help." And the horse says that when I ask for help, it's not because I'm giving up; it's because I'm refusing to give up. And this whole thing about
True.
therapy and mental
Charlie
health.
Maxey has this way of putting those things in such simple words. He does it
Yeah,
brilliantly.
true. Exactly, exactly. So the poetry I wrote today kind of touches on some aspects of, I wouldn't call it mental health really, but it touches on aspects of what causes anxieties in our life, what causes fear in our life, etc. The way I have structured the poetry is, I'm a big Pink Floyd person. I love listening to Pink Floyd music, especially when I'm in a self-reflective mode or when I'm down with whatever thoughts. Floyd is what I always listen to. And it's very philosophical. The lyrics are very philosophical. So one of the songs that Pink Floyd wrote was called "The Mother," and the poetry was about Floyd asking his mother
Okay.
questions like, mother, will I be the president? Mother, will this girl love me? Mother, will they drop the bomb? So it had a lot of political and personal conflict.
Okay.
Um, and um, and the mother answers saying that, whatever it is, child, I will protect you. I will build the wall for you. So I have used that same structure in the poetry today, and I've titled it Freudian Slip, like a pun
Okay.
on Freudian slip, which is where they say that the your verbal communication sometimes brings out your deepest desires. It's from Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis. Yeah. Um, so the poetry is titled Freudian Slip. When the umbilical became a discord, I opened my eyes to the world. Everything was about me. Everyone was around me. Mother, do you think the world is better than your womb? That indelible age in school faded into solitude. Hurtful words were spoken with laughter. Bullying was a sign of power. Mother, do you think I can erase those scars? Love, I was told, is finding a soulmate, sensing what I need without having to ask. Pure acceptance of all my flaws and of all my secrets. Mother, do you think one other person is everything in my life? Success was defined, seeing myself ahead of peers, putting on a mask of acceptance, concealing my true self. I raced for appreciation, money, and titles. Mother, do you think there is a finish line in this race? I wanted to be a writer, they said there were more writers. I wanted to be a nomad, they said I should settle down. I wanted to be careless, they forced me a mortgage. I wanted to be free, I was caged with the fear of missing out. Mother, do you think I can escape the jails of materialism? Now the mother answers, hush now, baby, hush, baby, don't cry. Don't cry over your past, for it has gone. Love yourself and know that you are enough. It matters not that you are the tortoise in the race. May you never be perfect, for life is not perfect. Hush now, baby. Hush, baby, don't cry, for you already are a writer writing your own life.
Wow.
Yeah. So the concept. So I basically stole the line of hush baby, don't cry. That line's exactly as per what Pink Floyd had in his song, and I wanted to kind of bring that metaphor out that
Correct.
and I guess the poem talks a lot about what our insecurities are, because we are constantly either comparing ourselves to others, or we are being compared, or there is a societal expectation that this is how you live. So I guess sometimes it's better to kind of um, just try and release yourself of those
True.
expectations. So
Also,
yeah.
the kind of dialogue you express through your poem, this is just a comment on your poetry, reminded me again, and since I'm a bit of a Tagore fan, it reminded me of the Champa Flower,
Yeah.
the poem again. That's how that Champa flower speaks to the mother in that
Mm.
kind of a manner, and that's a
Yeah.
conversation which they kind of have.
Yeah.
Here you have taken it a step ahead, where the mom actually comes back and says something into
Yeah.
that. Brilliant. I will
And
not give more compliments on your poetry right now, because I feel I fall short of words at times now. But
thank you so
otherwise, Uh, and you are right. And it fits the theme today, what we discussed so nicely,
Yeah.
that there are certain things which are possibly unspoken at times, and expressing them out is possibly the biggest challenge. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I totally echo with what Sanjay said. When this whole lockdown happened, for me, the biggest anxiety was my family back in India, because it was like, what do you do? You can't travel, nothing.
Correct.
And I guess this whole poetry reading started as an outcome of all that. Like,
It
it
did.
was
True.
was hobbies that you have kind of not done for a long time. It
True.
just, you try and do something that you just that's try and do
Awesome.
something. Yeah.
Great. Preeti, thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. This was really wonderful having you once again. I
Thank
hope
you.
everybody stays safe. Take care of yourself, and we will see you soon once again. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Great. That was Preeti with another one of her lovely poems. As always, she writes so beautifully and suits the theme today as well. Thank you very much for everyone for being there today and listening. Thank you to Therapo once again. Thank you to Sanjay and Praveen for spending their time with us and letting us know about their entire venture. I hope there are people out there who will reach out to them in case they need help. This is Amit Sangekar signing off from Beyond Reading with You, Season 2, Session 8.